Yes guys, welcome back to another episode of the MONOPOSTO track guide series. Today we have the 9th episode and we are going to be taking a look at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain. So this is quite an interesting circuit. Obviously it is the new up-to-date 2023 layout that has now been updated into this game. Be sure to like, subscribe if you're enjoying this series, if you're finding this videos helpful, and now let's get straight into it. Here we are in the pit lane at the Spanish Grand Prix. Now we're going to talk about setup first of all, as we always do in these videos. Now you may know that this circuit requires a lot of downforce, certainly on the old layout. However, I found on this new layout, due to the removal of the final chicane, you can actually decrease some of the downforce. You still want a relatively balanced setup. I would say balanced is where you want to go in terms of your wings. So yeah, I think there's still quite a few twisty corners, so like turn 10 and also the complex around the end of the first sector, but also those final couple of corners is now a really high speed section where we are now as you come to start the lap. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can ride the curb on the left hand side. If you need to cut across the pit lane entry so you can carry a bit more speed, then do so. There's no restrictions on that, so you might as well just completely abuse it if it's there. As you go up into ERS, DRS will be open down towards turn 1. I manually turn off ERS on the pit exit, at the end of the pit exit where it rejoins the track, and braking for turn 1 is at this curb on the left hand side. However, be careful not to turn in too early because there's a lot of grass on the inside. What you want to do is make sure you hit that dark green and blue runoff, come wide, hit the next curb. So you want to make your car as far on the left hand side as possible. It's braking at the 50-meter board or at the start of that red and white curb. You want to turn in and aim for this little bit of dark green runoff. Take this trajectory over the right hand curb. Bring your car back across over this left hand curb as well, to make sure you take the path of least resistance, and then you can come over this curb as well to this blue runoff. And by this point you want to be bringing your car back onto the tarmac, keep your foot flat to the floor. This is an extremely long right hander, it's virtually a complete 180 corner, and then you want to get straight onto the ERS. And when you get to this blue overbridge, that's where you want to brake. Probably you want to turn off ERS a little bit before that. This corner is going to be taken in, I believe it's 4th or 5th gear. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you want to take a tight line, hug the inside, and then come wide on the exit. Don't let yourself drift too wide on the entry to that. Use the blue runoff on the left-hand side if you want to help open up the car a little bit more. As we now approach this next corner, again, you want to brake early, come really shallow on the entry, and then come wider on the exit. Use a little bit of the exit curb if you want to, although it's only very short and quickly turns to gravel. So to be honest, I'd just stay off that if it was up to me. But if it helps you, then that's absolutely fine. This next corner, turn number 8. This can be quite a high speed corner, quicker than real life, and it's very easy to make a mistake, and it's very easy to not brake enough and then obviously go flying. You want to make sure that you do kill off enough speed, that you don't just go charging through. However, you do also want to ensure that you are using as much of this runoff as you can. However, once you get to the end of that blue bit, that then becomes grass. It's difficult because some of the runoff is green as well. However, that's, I guess, where practice comes in. You just need to get used to learning the track, learning where the runoff is, which curbs you can and can't use. Turn 9 is taken completely flat, although you don't really want to take that line. You want to kind of take the inside line for that if possible. Then you'll be up into DRS and ERS all the way down towards turn 10, the start of the final sector. Braking at the 100-meter board. This, for me, is probably the trickiest corner on the circuit because you don't realise quite how closed it is, and that was what can happen because obviously they made the corner a lot more open in 2022. However, I always find it easy to underestimate how much braking you actually need to do for this corner. So you want to bring your car on the right hand side on the entry, and then try and keep it on the right hand side because that allows you to, in theory, carry more speed. Use a bit of the blue runoff over the curb if you need to, but again, just make sure you brake at the 100-meter board. This next turn as you come through turn 12. You want to hug the inside, then come wide on the exit. Use as much of this blue runoff as you possibly can, and then you've reached the penultimate corner once again. The new part of the lap. There used to be a chicane here. That's why I'm glad I didn't have to make 2 track guides. You want to ride over this inside curb, and then you also want to ride over this curb on the left hand side. However, what I will say is it's very easy to get bumped off due to that curb on the right hand side being on a little bit of a dip. So just be careful which part of it you ride. You either ride it all on the bump or after the bump. You don't want to ride it when it's in the process of dipping down. And then obviously you can cut across the pit entry up into ERS and DRS, and that effectively concludes our lap of Spain. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. The next track guide will be in Montreal, and I'll see you all then. Goodbye.